Music Gear Monday. I'm just getting over a cold, but we're gonna keep it rolling. Today, we're talking about filming your DJ sets or your performances. I'm gonna give you some of my recommendations and give you a list of a couple cameras I think are cool. So let's get into it. As a DJ, producer, creative, it comes down to sharing with your audience. And the easiest way to do that is through video these days. And the best way to capture yourself doing whatever you do is to invest in a camera. When picking a camera, here's a couple of things to keep in mind. Portability is one of those things. You want it to be easy to set up, easy to use, not daunting, so that you're not wanting to create with this thing. If you have a big old cinema camera with a bunch of lenses and a bunch of options, you might be less likely to grab that thing and just shoot on it, although everybody's different. But still, if it's easy and it's something you can just pick up and roll with, it's more likely that you are going to use that camera. Setup, rig, whatever it is. Versatility is the other thing. So as I'm talking to you, my creative friends, you might be somebody that wants to record a DJ set, record you playing guitar, record you having a conversation with somebody else, but you also might want to take stills. You might want to take photos while you're traveling. You might want to take headshots. So that's something to think about when picking the right camera. You want it to be versatile and work in these different areas. Here are a couple of recommendations to hop into and use for these specific scenarios. On the entry-level side, I like the Sony ZV-1. It's a great camera to get into, has in-body stabilization, has a great sensor. It's pretty good in low light. Sony makes really great sensors, and so they've got it kind of dialed in. It's a great vlogging camera, and it's great to set up and shoot something like a DJ set on, because you can record longer takes on this camera. You have the option for SD cards, so you can switch up the capacity and use it in those different ways. It's the entry level to the Sony ecosystem, where you have a plethora of Sony cameras, but if you learn how to use your settings in a Sony camera, you can always level up to the next Sony camera and learn even more. There is the ZV-10, which allows you to switch lenses, has a larger sensor, something more similar to the FX series, which is their cinema line of cameras. So you get a lot more information to take in, and if you're somebody that wants to get into editing video, having more information helps you with things like color and all that good stuff. So the ZV-10 is a little bit more expensive, but it is a better quality camera. It gives you more information, and it gives you a lot more capabilities than the ZV-1. But like I said, if you're somebody that is vlogging, that's just run and gun, you don't want to deal in a bunch of settings, you don't want to deal in changing lenses and things like that, the ZV-1 is an amazing option. Now, if you're somebody that wants to dive into the Canon ecosystem, there is the M50. The M50 Mark II is comparable to the ZV-1. It is a very compact run and gun type of camera, easy settings, easy to set up and shoot with, and is ready for longer format shooting. Both of these cameras, you do have to get something like a tripod if you want to be able to set it up and leave it and let it run. It's not as compact as some of the other cameras that we're going to get into later on, but they are entry-level cameras into larger formats. So it's something that if you do want to get into a Canon R6 later on down the line, or if you do want to get into a Sony A7 series or anything like that, these are great cameras to start on and move your way up into those larger format cameras. In the mid-range, there are Sony A6000 series cameras. The 6400 series camera is a great camera to hop into. And again, portability, autofocus, easy settings. These cameras will allow you to actually go and interchange lenses so that you can get different focal lengths. So if it's something, like I said before, you want to get into these different formats, you can. And it also allows you to take higher quality stills. So if you do want to get into taking headshots, or you want to get into, maybe you want to take photos for your album cover or anything like that, these are great cameras to have because you can do stills and you can do video. Now, the Panasonic Lumix GH5 is another one that is a great mid-range camera, 4K video quality, in-body stabilization. These are great cameras, like I said, mid-range level. I had a friend do a whole project on a Lumix. It turned out amazing. So these are great cameras to do fun, interesting projects on. They have the versatility to do stills, and you have, like I said, longer format video. They're the mid-range cameras, so they're a little bit more of an investment than the entry level that I was talking about. But like I said, they're basically taking you into a larger format and a higher quality of camera. Moving into the high-end camera, we are looking at things like the Sony a7 III. The a7 III is known for filming video work on. You can do stills on it. It has a larger sensor on it, so it takes in more information. So anybody that wants to edit video and wants to get into coloring, shooting in RAW, shooting in log, slow motion, and things like that, these are the cameras that you want to get into because they have the versatility to shoot different formats, slow motion, interchangeable lenses, so you can buy a lens kit and you can get, you know, those different focal lengths and make your shooting interesting. You also have the Canon R6. So again, you're getting into these larger formats, interchangeable lenses, slow motion, larger sensors, dual SD cards, cameras that you'd want to get into for filming some of these type of larger projects and giving yourself more versatility with the shots that you're creating. Now that we got all of that out of the way, those are all great picks, but there is another option, and the other option is going more towards the mobile camera lines, like the DJI Osmo, the Insta360, the GoPro Heroes, and a bunch of other third-party cameras. But these three are probably my top picks for doing vlogs and doing things like recording DJ sets. So first up, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, an amazing camera. This thing has stabilization. It is a gimbal. It has a swivel mounted LCD screen, so you can see exactly what you're recording. You can preview what it looks like. You can flip the gimbal around and you can vlog. You can see yourself. It's a wide lens on it, so you can get a nice wide shot without having to pull the camera all the way back or interchange a lens. It's an amazing camera as far as mobility goes. It fits right in your pocket like it states, and there's a ton of accessories that you can get for it. There are different lens kit adapters that will allow you to shoot indoors, outdoors, get different, lens flares and things like that. So it's a fun camera to actually play around with. Anybody that's used any DJI products, super easy to get into and use because a lot of their projects align with similar interfacing as far as the apps go. The other thing it can do is it can stream. So if you're wanting to stream, it allows direct streaming from the device. It does allow you to connect a DJI mic directly to it. So that's another plus when going for the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And it does take stills. It's not something that I would recommend for doing stills with, but it does have the capability to take stills. If you have it and you wanted to shoot some stills real quick with it, then you can definitely do that. It does have 3 hours of battery life. That's the other thing we gotta think about when shooting these long sets performances is battery life. Some of the larger format cameras, they don't last as long. You're probably looking at an hour or so with some of these battery types. And that's why they sell a lot of these big external batteries for a lot of these cameras, because the little batteries that you put in the cameras sometimes don't last as long as you would want them to. Next is the Insta360. That's another camera that I own. Insta360 is amazing for short burst content. The other thing, the Insta360 does not have an auxiliary input. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3, it does have an audio input, and that's another reason why I recommend that camera. Insta360 is great for action, movement. It gives you 360 views, so if you want to record yourself in the club and the audience and get that interaction, it is amazing for that. It's great for getting a complete 360 interactive look at what's going on. There's the GoPro Hero 12 Black, which the GoPro cameras are actually really good in low light, and they actually have a really good picture quality. You can use them for streaming as well, but I've heard of some issues with the GoPros shutting off as far as streaming goes. But as far as action content goes, things like DJing on a bus, a train, DJing out in the wilderness, things like that. Like I said, these are great cameras for short form content, perfect for that. Now, with some of the mirrorless cameras that I recommended, like the ZV-1, ZV-10, the R6, the M60, these cameras you can buy dummy batteries for, and if you put the dummy battery in it and you plug them in, so if you have a place like a club, or if you're at your apartment, or if you're on the roof somewhere and you have an outlet, you can plug these cameras in and you could let them run for hours without worrying about them shutting off. So that's the other great part about some of these mirrorless cameras, is that you could buy accessories that will allow you to do that. You can also buy larger external batteries that these dummy batteries can plug into. That a lot of times that's what a lot of videographers do to get a longer shot or get usage out of their camera all day. But is that something that you want to do? So last but not least is your phone. If you have a newer mobile device like an iPhone, your phone most likely shoots in 4K and most likely has an accessory that you can plug an auxiliary into from your DJ mixer. You can literally run the audio straight into your phone, mount your phone just far enough to get a wide enough shot of your DJ set, and you can go and film your DJ set or performance without worrying about having to go out and buy a whole bunch of different stuff. This whole long video basically comes down to what you're comfortable having a budget for to create your content. There's always new cameras coming out every year, and you're always going to be able to find a deal. The biggest advice that I can give anybody is to just basically get started and go, whether or not you have a mirrorless camera or a phone. Whatever you have, get started and just go. Now, a couple accessories I would recommend you get if you do get a camera or if you want to use your phone is a tripod and a light. You know, if you have a tripod, you could set that camera up on the tripod, and then you can get a light. There are a ton of different lights, LED lights, that will allow you to mount to your tripod or the top of your camera and get better lighting on your subject, whether it's a DJ or whether it's a performer or whoever. If you get a nice little LED light, that means that you can light your subject and you can get a better shot, because a lot of times filming stuff comes down to lighting, and proper lighting allows for a better picture, which allows you to do less editing in post and just makes it easier. So remember that. The other thing is, if you're running from your DJ gear to your camera, you're gonna need an auxiliary cable. You're gonna have to come out of one of your outputs from your device, which will usually be a booth or an auxiliary line out if you have one from your device. Do those RCA to headphone 1/8 inch out, plug that into your camera, and that should be enough to bake in your audio so you don't have to do it in post. If you can't do it that way, the other way would be to record your audio inside of your DJ software. So whether you're using Rekordbox, Serato, DJ Pro, they usually have a way that you can record your audio inside of the DJ software and save it to your computer. You also have the option on some hardware like the XZ and the RX3, you have the option to record your audio onto the USB stick you're using into your slot 2, and you're able to record your set onto that stick in slot 2. The other way is to use the DJM Record app. So if you're a Pioneer user, you could download the DJM Record app. You can plug that in to the mixer, if it's a 900 series mixer and you can record audio out into that DJM app. So that's the other way to do it. And lastly, you can always buy an audio interface. There's a ton of cheap ones, a ton I recommend. You run that audio interface from your DJ setup into that audio interface, and then that audio interface into your computer, and your computer is gonna record that set. If you're using your computer to DJ on, you might want to use your friend's computer or whatever to dedicate to recording that DJ set. That's how you're gonna capture audio. So, the perfect camera can always elevate your content to the next level and help create visually compelling, interesting things for your audience. Hopefully this helps you make a choice in finding the right camera. Let me know in the comments below which one of these recommendations do you like, and if you have any more questions, please put them in the comments below, because there's going to be more cameras coming out and it's something we need to talk about. There's a ton more that we didn't cover. These are just some of my recommendations that I think are great. That's going to be it for today's Music Gear Monday. We'll catch you guys back here next week. Peace. Also, make sure to check out musicgearmondays.com. Check out the blog, because I'm going to put all of the information from all of these cameras and also link videos that I think are very helpful for each one of these cameras. And if you want a downloadable PDF of how to set up your camera for DJing, performing with, make sure to check out the blog, musicgearmondays.com. It's free downloadable PDF, so hop on over and download it today. Welcome to CrateConnect.com, the ultimate DJ record pool designed just for you. Experience the power of lossless wave audio files, delivering crystal clear sound that is only available at CrateConnect.com. Stay ahead of the curve with our monthly charts and trending sections to know what's hot and what's next. Dive into exclusive playlists featuring the freshest releases and edits. Your sets will never be the same. With Crate Connect Go, access your music pool from any mobile device on the go and download your crates anytime, anywhere. Crate Connect is designed with the familiar interface modeled after your favorite DJ software for seamless transitions. Join today and elevate your DJ game at CrateConnect.com.